Boy, oh boy, we have some interesting things happening in Egypt. This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well. And the timing is very, very strange. We have this massive music. I guess you would say music. This is like some sort of weird AI digital light show at the Great Pyramid. It appears to be, of course, a ritual of sorts. I don't know if you guys knew about this. And when you start to look into this, you start to find a lot of very strange things. Our president actually is going through Egypt right now. He's going through the Middle East. The timing is interesting. We have also all these weird things going on in the world at the same time that seem to be spiritual. We see spiritual warfare going on right now in the world. Check out this weird concert where they're showing some sort of being breaking out. And if you followed my channel for the last decade, I've covered what I think is underneath the Great Pyramid. We had the emerald tablets. Now, there's two types of emerald tablets. There's the emerald tablets of Thoth, which they tell you don't exist or not real. And then you got the actual real ones. They don't tell you that. Actually, they're kind of tricking you when they say that. There actually are literally tablets that are historical artifacts called the Emerald Tablets. But the ones that are called the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, there's like these fake ones that were made based off a book, but actually they're sort of representing the original real ones. It's almost like they don't want you to know this. That's why they can come out and say this. I've seen people like Wes Huff say this. Oh, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, those are fake. They're not real. But actually, he doesn't tell you. Well, actually, there are some emerald tablets. There actually are real ones. It's just not the ones that people are referring to. They're pretty much the exact same thing. Oh, we shouldn't tell you that part, though. That talk about there being another dimension underneath these Great Pyramids. That there's something underneath them. Something that's trapped under there. Something spiritual. I covered, I think it was 12 years ago on this channel. It's been a long time. How I was outside walking around at nighttime praying, and then just God out of the blue just told me something weird. I wasn't even thinking about it at all. He's like, the bottomless pit is under the Great Pyramid. I'm like, what? Are you serious? Yeah, the bottomless pit is under the Great Pyramid. I'm like, okay. So I was like, that was kind of weird thing to hear from God. I'm like, what the heck's this? I went and looked it up, and I found out, whoa, actually there is some ancient writing saying this. This is weird. Are they actually trying to conjure, of course, something up from the Great Pyramid? And, of course, I'm not going to play the audio because who knows if they have a copyright on there. I've seen how they've done that before. Just notice how the Great Pyramid disappears, reappears. You see that in their production there? Their light show, their virtual reality hologram projection that you'll see in a minute here. I'm going to show you it. Of a being, a giant being coming through this portal here. And these are the two pillars which represent a portal. We have also the lights in the formation of the sigil of Lucifer. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. Here is these two poles, two pillars, as you can see there. All right, so here's the thing trying to break out. What is trying to break out? Oh, well, I told you what's underneath the Great Pyramid. Some fallen watchers from the Book of Enoch, for example. Maybe some of those guys are underneath there. Yeah, actually, that's what Aleister Crowley thought. He was actually met by a being in the Great Pyramid. And then later he literally had the devil come to him as I was. And yeah, that's what was literally told to him. So I wonder if it's true. Yeah, actually, I think it is true. And I'm going to get into all this. We're going to get into a ton of stuff. I'm going to show you a lot more as we get into this. We're going to get into also where I think all this is going. We got some insane stuff being said by Sam Altman. First, I got to mention food supply, 25-year shelf life. Link is in the description. 4 months worth for $6.97. It's actually 3 months and an extra month. Link is in the description. You never know what's next. just in case there's a Terminator 2 coming our way, without Arnold Schwarzenegger, you might want to get that just in case. Considering what Sam Altman said right here, and I got an interview to show you as well of the guy, to show you how trustworthy he is. Sam Altman warns AI could kill us all, but he still wants the world to use it. I got to show you this interview of him on the Tuckmeister in a little bit, because it shows you really what kind of guy he is. All right. Also, this book here, The Lost Ways, how your great-great-grandfather lived without electricity, how to build a cellar, do things around the house, as they did in the old days, hundreds of pages illustrated. You're going to definitely need that book before the power goes out. And if AI ends up taking all of our jobs, I'm sure somebody out there is going to be like, I think we need to hit the reset button. Oh, look, no power. You might want to get this book just in case. Link is in the description, $37, get the printed version. So, of course, Sam Altman was in an interview recently with the Tuckmeister. Actually, it was a little while ago. Was this a month ago? I think it was a month ago. And I'm fascinated with this interview. It's so, the way they talk to each other is just very fascinating. That's maybe why it's got almost 40 million views. It's about a coworker who allegedly was his friend who mysteriously died coming home from a vacation. For some reason, his camera CCTV was all cut. All the wires were cut on his CCTV. He ordered takeout, but for some reason, according to Sam Altman, he really just was depressed for some reason and took, of course, unalived himself. This is according to Sam Altman. Yeah, and no one's really believing this for some reason. And here you have Tuckmeister asking him about it.
So you had complaints from one programmer who said you guys were basically stealing people's stuff and not paying them, and then he wound up murdered. What was that?
Also a great tragedy.
He goes on to say that he unalived, of course, himself. I just recently saw the post of what's being referred to as being stolen stuff that was taken by Sam Altman's company. And from what I understand, it came from Grok. It was a worker from Grok that stole all of the code for Grok and gave it to OpenAI, I think it was. Stole code. It was a one worker. And he got a job there. I think that's what it was. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Yeah, here we are. Well, they're just showing a weird... Here it is. This is the guy right here. Okay, let me show you this. Ex-Musk engineer stole Grok code, joined OpenAI before leaving. He stole $7 million worth of AI shares, XAI shares. Elon Musk is now suing him for allegedly stealing Grok's source code. This man right here. And, of course, Sam Altman right here is the chief executive officer of OpenAI. So that's the guy we're talking about. So they just had, so some guy who was sort of close-ish with Sam Altman had a conscience and is like, we can't just steal people's code. We can't steal the entire code from your competitor. This is not a good thing. And for some reason, he's gone. He's dead now in a very strange fashion. Let's let Tuckmeister explain this.
Have you looked? This was like a friend of mine. This is like a guy that, and not a close friend, but this is someone that worked at OpenAI for a very long time. I was really shaken by this tragedy. I spent a lot of time trying to, read everything I could, as I'm sure you and others did too, about what happened. It's like gruesome to talk about, but I read the whole medical record. Does it not look like one to you?
No, he was definitely murdered, I think. There were signs of a struggle, of course. The surveillance camera, the wires had been cut. He had just ordered takeout food, come back from a vacation with his friends on Catalina Island. No indication at all that he was, no note and no behavior. He had just spoken to a family member on the phone. And then he's found dead with blood in multiple rooms. So that's...
So as you can see here, Sam Altman looks like he's being genuine. He sounds like he's being authentic, but that's the problem. Because obviously in this case, something doesn't look right with regards to how this programmer died. And for him to just act like he honestly, really genuinely thinks he unalived, of course, himself, doesn't seem actually feasible. Like, I don't think he feasibly believes something like that. Like, I don't think anybody would. So for him to look genuine while lying, talking about Sam Altman, based on my own assessment here, he's most likely lying, at least in the aspect of not thinking that it looks strange what happened to this programmer. The fact that you, like 90+% chance he's probably lying, and the fact that he can look genuine while lying is kind of a concern. And then Tuckmeister goes on to say, well, you know, this is a little concerning because people are wondering, because you're making AI, okay? If we can't really trust you on this story, how can we trust you with AI? Kind of a good question to ask. I don't know. Maybe because you got these weird things going on at the Great Pyramid right now. That might be a reason why we don't really trust it. Yeah, I don't know. It looks a little strange. Something coming out of from underneath the Great Pyramid, sort of giant looking. I don't know. Could that be a demon? Could that be a fallen watcher of some sort? Are you trying to pull something out from underneath that thing? In the spiritual realm, you only built a portal over it. I don't know. It's kind of strange, actually. Maybe that's what's going on here. And, of course, we also had another video go viral. We're going to get back into that in a second here, the whole Great Pyramid. Apparently, this just went viral yesterday. This guy's got proof that Mandela effect is real. He apparently put it in a safe. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the best.
Show you guys.
Doesn't have the best camera.
This, that, and the other thing, whatever, blah 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 blah. Let me pull these out first. So I have the Shazam video that they say never existed, which is Mandela effect number 1. Well,
You can't focus.
get this to focus. I don't know why it's not focusing.
The other guy
but
can't
it's
use the
Shazam.
camera.
I have the Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears. Which is Mandela effect number 1. Well, let me get this to focus. I don't know why it's not focusing, but it's Shazam. I have the Berenstain Bears, not Berenstain Bears. It's the actual book. And then I also have an original pair of Fruit of the Loom. Hold on. Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia. You can see the cornucopia on there. They say it never existed.
So you can see there he has 3 of the main ones that people talk about a lot, and he has apparently evidence for each of the 3. And I've seen other people talking about this as well, that this viral video showing physical artifacts, and I've seen them actually before. I've seen other ones just like this. Now, this is what he's referring to in regards to Fruit of the Loom. The brand says that there are no Fruit of the Loom with a cornucopia on it, that it's always looked like this. But actually, there was even a guy who found an old newspaper cut, in microfiche, at the library, found an old newspaper. I don't know what year this is, 1960 or something, where it shows the evidence that indeed they did have a cornucopia. Let's see if we can check this out real quick.
News article, October 31st, 1995, cornucopia of job cuts, describing cuts in a Fruit of the Loom company. This tagline improbable, and this logo's reality. Twitter user communicated Fruit of the Loom company. Is it true the logo never had a cornucopia? Response. The cornucopia never existed. Even some of us are still convinced it's a thing though. Some employees have retained their previous memories. Article by Billy Cox. The being mentioned, Sam Wright made 120 to 140 television commercials for Fruit of the Loom underwear. Then goes on to say, Fruit of the Loom logo was a cornucopia swollen with an apple, green grapes, purple grapes, and their green leaves. Keyword
So you got another one. You got 2 right there.
here. Book, Morning 3 one-act plays by Israel Horovitz. Page 78. Fruit of the Loom uses an insignia, a cornucopia, I think. Published 1969. Book, Brothers K by David James Duncan. Published June 1st, 1996. Page 440. This is too good. Pointed back at wire cutters have been wrapped in, then held up It was a pair of baby blue Fruit of the Loom boxer shorts. Skip down. He pondered the little horn of plenty on the label, snapped and unsnapped the 2 buttons, turned a short.
So you can see there lots of different examples of people talking about the cornucopia. Fruit of the Loom, and we've talked about this on our channel before back some years ago, probably 8 years ago, the whole thing with the Mandela effect, which is really interesting because the first time it was ever introduced, the entire idea of the Mandela effect was 2009. In 2009. Okay, you see that? I don't know where my page went. I had it open earlier. When did CERN, of course, turn on? 2008. You see that? Isn't that a little strange? So the first time that thing ran was 2008. 2009 was the first, of course, mention of the Mandela effect. Makes you wonder if that's 100% related or not. I also have my own. I'm sure you got some as well. I remember Billy Graham dying and he wasn't dead. I remember him being dead, and then I saw like a show where he was still alive. I'm like, what? Wait, what? I thought he was dead. What's going on here? He's alive still? That was one for me. Also Keanu Reeves. And I actually found articles on the internet saying what I was thinking too, by the way, about Keanu Reeves. I thought Keanu Reeves was gay, like literally gay, like a gay dude. And I remember like him being with some guy, and it was like way back in like the 90s or so. I don't remember when it was. It was like the 90s or something. And I actually found articles on the internet from like way back, written right when the internet started, where people were saying the same thing as I thought. I don't have it pulled up right now, but the guy is not gay. Keanu Reeves is married to a woman actually. At any rate, so there's a lot of weird ones like this that are out there. And some are saying that they use, of course, the Hadron to pull out these, beings. I'm curious about if it's running right now. Okay. So it was shut down in 2022. It was restarted in April 2024 and again in 2025. Okay, when did they start it up in 2025? July 5th. So they turned it on in July 5th. Biggest particle smash they've ever done. Is there going to be new Mandela effects? I bet you there are some. How much you want to bet there are? I'm sure there are. Does anybody mention any? I'm actually curious if there's any new ones, because I remember some of the stuff I covered back 10, 15 years ago. I had a video that got 12 million views about The Simpsons, and it was like Simpsons predictions. And actually, a lot of it came true, by the way. I should have kept that video. It had some copyright issue from the company, and I didn't know how to fix it, so I ended up deleting it. I had some copyright issue, and they like hit it hard. That was a long time ago, though. But I feel like I just know things are different. You ever get that feeling? Like you just know it's not the same timeline as it was then. And another thing about this whole thing with the Mandela effect is I have a researcher. He really looks into a lot of stuff. He used to be in the occult, by the way. My researcher, he became a Christian many years ago. He's been out of the occult for a long, long time, but he knows quite a bit about it. And when he was looking into some of this stuff, he was talking about how the devil has been trying to change or manipulate the timeline. And perhaps that is what part of this is. When they do these weird arches in cities like we talked about 8 years ago, now we got this one at the Great Pyramid. It's like a portal. When they turn on, of course, the Hadron, of course, Collider, all these things. Are they trying to manipulate, change, of course, time? We also have a certain project, which I've talked about recently, Looking Glass, where they can actually see what's in the future. And then they were actually able to manipulate it up till about 2012, and after that they were not able to do it anymore. Perhaps because they couldn't do it anymore, after 2012, they went towards using this instead, this Hadron, and maybe these portals that they try to do as well. I know it sounds crazy, but actually it does make sense when you start looking into it, because we even had certain emails that were, of course, leaked many years ago where they're talking about Gilgamesh and stuff like that. We're talking from people at the top. We're talking about specific famous, politicians talking about this on their emails. Right? Like, why would they care about Gilgamesh's body? Like, why? Why would you care? Well, see, Gilgamesh was Nimrod. And actually, the entire religion of Egypt was likely surrounding Gilgamesh. So Gilgamesh, he was buried near the Euphrates River, but they say that they actually exhumed his body and moved it to the Great Pyramid location. And it was between the Sphinx and the main Great Pyramid that they found a recessed down, what do you call it? Whatever, I can't even think of the word. Temple, whatever you want to call it, where they had the body that was put there. And it was found back in 1999. I don't even have all the stuff open. I've talked about this numerous times, though. So apparently, his body was moved from there to Egypt, because I believe the entire religion of the pharaohs was around Gilgamesh and what he was trying to do, where he was building the Tower of Babel, because I believe Gilgamesh is Nimrod. I don't even have all the stuff open. I've talked about it numerous times before. But I actually think that all the stuff's connected. I don't want to, you can check out some of my old videos. I actually have it up on my website, GR Videos. I can actually show you real quick. Okay, so you can go to my website, GR Videos. It's linked in the description there. It actually might be the top link actually has all my links, and you can find it through there as well. But this is the free video section, and you just click to this right here. There's like an all categories, and I got all these words here that are just keywords. You click on Gilgamesh, and it'll probably be one of these videos. Like this one right here is probably one of them. I have others too. Like you can look for the word pyramid or other words. The free section doesn't have a ton of stuff in it. If you go to my membership section, which actually I just discounted, $5.95, $49.95 for the top plan, $5.95 for the cheap one, where you can just get access to the videos, and you can go to some of these different categories and just go in there and you can do the same exact search off the all categories right here. At any rate, so go check that out. But at any rate, so I wanted to get into more stuff. Actually, I have a lot of stuff here. Like I showed you with the whole thing with AI, you have here Peter Thiel talking about the Antichrist, and he has this really backwards, like reverse psychology way of looking at the Antichrist, which is probably 100% not right. The Antichrist will talk about Armageddon all the time. He'll scare people, then offer to save them. So Peter Thiel's weird argument is, if we just don't even try to be fear-mongering and don't worry about anything, we won't have the Antichrist, is basically his idea. He says we should have no regulations for AI, which makes no sense whatsoever what he's saying. I think there's a difference between fear and concern. We should have a lot of concern. Of course, I'm kind of concerned about Peter Thiel because he went to this Bilderberg meeting like a few months ago. So, that's my point. At any rate, the fact is we're seeing a lot of spiritual things going on right now. You have in the world, in South Florida, and a lot of these different college campuses, revival going on. As you can see there. And then at the same time, in Nigeria, Christians are refusing to renounce, of course, their faith. Almost 8,000 churches now attacked. 5,000 put in jail. And almost 5,000 also are just gone. As you can see here, they're still going to church even when their building has been destroyed. Absolutely astounding, but it shows you how the devil's been working of recent. In the UK, you have here, apparently you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church now.
Religion you're allowed to do anywhere.
No, miss, you're not allowed to sing church songs outside of church grounds, by the way.
You're not allowed to sing church songs outside
of church songs or church grounds, that's fine.
Except for if you're a Muslim, then you can do it all you like. You can actually even stop traffic. You can pray in front of cars and on a freeway. You can literally do that if you want, if you're Muslim, apparently. You have here in Texas, Dallas, Texas, a Christian boldly went to hold his own prayer to protest, of course, against, we're seeing Muslims now praying in the park here in Texas. Check this out.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our sins, as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from Islam. For thine is the kingdom.
Oh my goodness gracious, dude. So you got that going on. And as I was saying, with regards to the Great Pyramids, we talked about all these massive chambers underneath the Great Pyramid. There are labyrinths, and it's actually far more space underneath the pyramid than they let on. At any rate, that's my video. Kind of what some of you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.